Hi, this is Yang Ziding. I'm very grateful to be here today to share the process of applying for O1 visas. I have admired Alice for a while because not only she's an incredible artist herself, but also because we share the same vision. We're both passionate about helping international artists navigate their path here in America more easily. So it's truly an honor, and I'm so excited to be here today to share the insights and the experiences that how I help international artists to applying their O1 visa. As you can see, our workshop is called Navigating Your O1 Visa Process. You might feel a little bit confused about this title, and that's totally fine because over the years, I have helped more than 100 people navigating their resumes and prepare for their O1 visa. So I would say that every artist has their own unique path, process, and the way they're preparing their O1 visas materials. So that's why we were starting with your question today. So, is there any one of you in the audience that have in really urgent questions need to solve or ask, or are you currently in the middle of a challenging process, or even you are still a student who is trying to figure out the most effective way or the most efficient way, let's say, to prepare your materials? Let's start by hearing from you. Let's start with the frequently asked questions. The first question I often get is from artists who say, I don't have enough credits. And almost 90% of students feel like they don't have what it takes to apply for O1. And some of them usually think they need more or they're not sure if they qualify. The second question is that I just started, but how do I plan my O1 material? So this usually happens with students who have just started their OPT. Their resumes are often pretty blank, and they know they only have 1 year, which is OPT, right? 1 year, and maybe even less because you also have to wait for the immigration officer to review your case. That is to say, you need a very well planned, efficient strategy to prepare your own materials. It's about having a very specific and effective plan to make your preparation work during OPT. And the third question is that my OPT has almost run out. Who can tally down with my O1 case perfectly now? This happens with students who already have some credits but are not sure which lawyer can really understand their craft or discipline and can effectively showcase their work, achievements, and materials to create a strong O1 petition. Now we get to the main topic of today's workshop, the 5 strategic steps to maximize your O1 approval rate. 中文我们说是 O1 高获批的5个战略步骤。Before we start, I would like to introduce myself. I am a Taiwanese actor currently working in New York. I graduated from American Musical and Dramatic Academy, majoring in musical performance. I actually got my green card after 18 months of my OPT. I didn't apply for O1 visa. That is because I prepare the material as early as possible, even before my graduation. And like I said, it could be a very well planned, efficient, and effective strategy. So that's why we are here today, right? And I have helped over 100 international students and artists strategize their O1 visas and green card. And right now, I have been invited by an immigration company called My Visa Services, where I specifically guide artists through their visa and green card applying process, no matter which stage you are. So, how do I accelerate the process of applying O1 visa? I've tried to simplify the process, creating a clear step-by-step approach for you to follow, which is what I called 5 strategies, PEACE. So, what is O1 visa? O1 is a non-immigrant visa, which only 3 years. Compared to green card, it's not permanent, right? So you have to renew it every 3 years. And there are two types of O-1 visas. One of them is O-1A and O-1B. O-1A is for individuals who have to demonstrate their extraordinary ability in the fields of science, education, business, and athletics. And O-1B is for our artists, who means the individuals who possess extraordinary ability in the arts and entertainment sectors. I think like most of our artists here would fall under the O-1B category, unless that your work is more theoretical, like if you write papers or do reviews, you might be more suited for O-1A visa. But I believe that most of the artists belong to O-1B. What does the O-1 visa require? First of all, and I would say the most important, is that you need to provide evidence of extraordinary ability in your field. Second, you must have a 3-year employment agreement. Third, you will need recommendation letters, plus a consolation letter from a union or professional association related to your field. Now, let's move on the first strategy, pitch, which is to brand yourself. How to brand yourself? First of all, you need to decide on the title you will be petitioning for. For example, if you are a filmmaker, you can't say, I'm a filmmaker, and list everything you do, like editing, DP, camera work, or coloring, directing, audio, writing, everything. But you might do all of those things. But if you list all of them and trying to package as a filmmaker, that will definitely confuse the immigration officer, because this for him this is different job titles and disciplines. So you need to focus on the one title that best fits your experiences. Like if you have like a best editing award or something, or any achievement that's specifically showing on your resume. And this brings us to the second point. You need to define your profession and niche. For example, um, let's say I am a composer, but my compositions always incorporate some traditional instruments like Chinese instruments. And also, you probably adapt some theories from Japan or China and put some element inside of your composition. That's your niche. So it sets you apart and makes you unique compared to other composers. So first, narrow down your title, and then make sure you clearly explain your niche to the immigration officer so they can better understand what makes you different and special. Now, let's move on to the second strategy, E for evidence. And this is a section directly taken from the immigration website. So, for O-1B purpose, extraordinary ability is defined as distinction in the art. As with O-1, distinction can be shown through a one-time major achievement, such as an Academy Award, Emmy, Directors Guild Award, or evidence of at least three of the followings. So I think most of us haven't get the Academy Award, right, or Grammy Award, right, or Nobel Prize. So we will like go on and take a look at what is the three of the followings. So these three criteria are actually selected from a list of 6. In other words, you need to meet at least 3 of the 6 criteria we'll discuss in order to be eligible to apply for O-1 visa. The first criteria is leading roles in productions, events with distinguished reputations. Wow, it's pretty wordy, right? But just means that you have played a major role or held a key creative or even technical position in a work with a distinguished reputation. For example, in a film, it's always a collaborative effort. If the movie is successful, whether it sells well, wins awards, or receives a lot of great reviews, you can prove that you played a leading role in that project, regardless of whether you were the editor, DP, actor or director or colorist or music design, scoring. As long as the work was recognized and had a positive impact, you can claim that you were leading role. The second criteria is significant achievement recognition from organizations, critics, government agencies, or other recognized experts in the field in which the beneficiary is engaged. It's pretty wordy, right? But just put it simply, media coverage. But if you have been featured on a reputable critics websites or some critics, the famous one, or a well-known magazines or the platforms which is notable in your industry, that counts as well. However, the quickest way is to just prove through media reports. Whether it's a report about you or something you have engaged, it's usually more impactful when it's a personal review. And of course, you will have to prove your evidence through your other performance or work, like the event or the performance that mentioned your name or your photo. That is helpful and necessary as well. But I would say if you are applying for O-1 visa or even green card, it's best to have a formal media interview to feature only you. The third criteria is critical roles in distinguished organizations or productions. This refers to having a significant role or high position in a reputable organization, company, or productions. Typically, this means you have made a meaningful contribution to a well-established association or company. But a lot of you will ask, what is that different from the first criteria, leading roles? The main difference is that this one, critical roles, focus on your contributions other than just a one-time production or performance or project. It's usually associated with a registered organizations such as school, company, or institutions, or a organizations that we just mentioned earlier, NPO, NGO, that counts as well. The fourth criteria is commercial success, evidence of commercial success relating to the beneficiary's work. This can include things like box office, economic revenue, or earnings from your artwork, like how much you sell from your paintings or music recordings, something like that, if you can prove the number. And also the ratings or the streaming views. These numbers count as well. And all these forms are commercial success that can help demonstrate your impact in your field. The fifth criteria, recognition from the significant ones, critics, experts, or industry leaders recognizing achievements. For this criteria, the simplest way to do this is through the recommendation letters. However, if you can get endorsements or recommendations from professional organizations like your union, your associations, or well-known critics, that's even stronger. For example, if you have applied for a major government project and you received the fund and also take charge of this project, I would say this is definitely an excellent evidence to prove this criteria because you prove your influence in your industry, right? And your profession. So I would say recommendation letters from those big institutions will be the direction you go. The last criteria is high salary compared to others in the field. This criteria refers to your salary in comparison to others at the same level. Like the same position level in the same field and within the same region. So suppose you are in Shanghai or in Singapore, you have to compare with the same position with the same country or the same city. But if you are in America, you can look up Department of Labor. If your salary is in the top 10% for your field, it is considered as high salary. However, our artists can also prove by the earning from our performances or the artworks that we sold. Yeah, if the number meet the 10%, and then we can claim that we are high salary. However, not every young artist can prove this criteria because, like typically we just came out from the school, so it depends. Now we arrive at PEACEA artwork. This is the foundation of O-1 and green card because when your artwork is well done and if it's high quality, the rest of your materials will fall into place, like recommendation letters or media coverage. So for young artists, if you want to create great artwork, it can be summed up in two words: networking and collaboration. If we want to create a substantial body of work in a short period of time, the resources is the key, and the collaboration is the shortcut. For example, in school, you will likely have very talented classmates, right? Or the professors who need help with their own project. Then you can volunteer to contribute to those. Then you will get credit. So here are some tips. The school resources, like I said, except from very talented classmates and professor, also there are some free resources that you can borrow and you can take advantage, like free equipment, software, or rehearsal spaces, right? And second is competition. This is really a shortcut because if you win an award or just got selection or honorable mention, your work gets exposure, which will lead to media coverage, right? And the third one is participate in the project. That if there is like a good project from the government or from the school that you think you can put in your resume, and then you should just go for it. The last one is exhibition. I would say this is the core element of your artwork because let's say if you submit for exhibition for a gallery, or you create a recital, like the musician who have their own recital to showcase your artwork or your ability or your professional performances. That is the core material to judge you as an extraordinary artist, right? So if you are a student who just starting to plan your O-1, don't worry about all the criterias or materials because you just have to focus on how to make your artwork the best it can be through collaborations, competitions, and get exposure as much as possible. Then everything will fall into place. Now let's move on to C, commission in the PEACE strategy. Here we are break things down into different pricing tiers. On the left, you will see the typical price range for hiring an immigration lawyer in New York. On the right, I will explain what you can expect at each price point. So for the first tier, 6,000, you will certainly get a lawyer. However, at this level, they are most likely just handling your forms. You won't receive much in terms of additional resources, such as guidance on building a strong case or the media coverage resources or any connection help with recommendation letters or employment agreements. The second tier, which is 10,000 level, you will typically be assigned a legal assistant to help gather your materials. However, be cautious during your consultation, as this legal assistant might not have a formal law license. They could simply be a recent graduate or someone without substantial legal experience. While they might be helpful in organizing your documents, but they generally don't provide additional resources like media coverage or recommendation letters or employment agreement resources as well. However, if you're lucky, you will have a very good legal assistant and they will try their best to help you to dig out your uniqueness and also have a very, very good communication with your actual lawyer. But if you are not so lucky, it's just might, collect your materials and fill out the form and then just send everything to the lawyer, and the lawyer won't really understand you and have no ideas about your craft and your materials as well. There's a risk, so I suggest you have to figure out every details after you collaborate with them. At the 15,000 level, you will likely be working with a more established law firm, or let's say immigration agency. At this level, your team will include a licensed attorney and a certified paralegal. These professionals have the qualifications to provide legitimate legal services. Firms in this price may also offer some connections to enhance your application, such as media contacts or any employment opportunities. However, the quality and availability of these resources can vary, so it's important to figure out all the details as well during your consultation. So let's go to the 20,000 tier. At this level, it represents some of the highest quality services available in New York, although there are even more higher priced options. But at this level, your team will include a lawyer, a paralegal, and a case manager. And the role of the case manager is crucial for every applicant who are still in their process of building their materials, or whose approval rate is still like only 50 or 60%, because the case manager will have a plan for you to accumulate and gather all the resources and the necessary material that you might have, because they have the resources. All is about resources. So the case manager will actually work with you alongside the lawyer and paralegal to efficiently guide you to accomplish and complete all the material you need to have to petition O-1 visa. So one word to be short when consulting with a law firm or a lawyer or immigration consultant, it's necessary for you to clarify your expectations and figure out the resources they can offer. And you should ask a specific question about how they see your resume, how they evaluate your resume, how they can help you with your discipline, your art craft, with their unique vision. And then you will know which lawyer or which team is suitable for your case and the time you have. So let's go to the last column, which is the pricing and refund policies. So in the first two rows, you see this is the deposit plus balance upon approval. That means that you pay a deposit upfront, and if your case got denied, you don't have to pay for the rest of them. And if you got passed, then you can pay the remaining balance. The second method is full payment with refund guarantee. We just say that you have to pay full fee before you submit the case. But if your case got denied, a portion of the payment will be refunded. While the result in both cases seems similar, you only pay part of the total fee if your application is denied. However, the two models differ significantly in terms of approach and the quality of services. So for the first model, which is the deposit and the balance upon approval, these two rows, let's see, such as in the 6,000 tier, those firms often follow a high volume, low margin strategy. They have to accept many clients to collecting the first deposit, which is $3,000 from each. Whether or not your application is successful, they may not prioritize your case because their business model focuses on volume rather than individual outcomes. And for the mid-range services like 10,000 tier, those law firms are more likely to care about their reputation, while they still follow a deposit structure like the 6,001, but their work tends to be more reliable, and they usually make a stronger effort to maximize the approval rates. And the second model is 15,000 and 20,000 range. Those firms tend to require full payment before submission. These firms, they invest significant resources into ensuring your application and make it as strong as possible, because they take on fewer clients and want to provide high-touch support. So their costs are higher, and they are heavily invested in achieving your high approval rates. So for these premium services, those firms or immigration company typically include a very clear refund policy in the contract. For instance, they might commit to refund 50 to 70% of the fee if your application got denied. However, the full deposit, let's say the upfront payments, ensures they are fully committed to building your case because they don't want to refund the fees, right? So they have to put their wholehearted effort to make your case work. So based on the practical perspective, I always recommend and suggest the student to choose a full payment upfront with a clear refund policy. Because this approach typically ensures that the legal team is more invested in your success, since their reputation and financial return depend on your success. Now we have reached the last step, employment. After preparing all the necessary evidence to prove your extraordinary ability, you still have to secure your employment. And this is often the most challenging part for students because even if you have a very impressive achievements or a very strong materials, but you still have to guarantee that you will be hired by a company full time in the next 3 years. So within this O-1 framework, actually, there are two types of employment. So the first one is what we see here, which is called sponsorship, that you need to have a guaranteed 3 years contract hired from a company full time. However, there are another arrangement called agent representation. So our artists probably will more suitable for the second one, but I will love to explain the sponsorship first because since some of you probably will be hired by a actual company and do a full-time job. So the sponsorship means a company legally binding you 3-year employment contract, and you have to actually enroll into this company, do this job position, and get the pay stubs every month and file the tax as well. All these things will be documented and recorded in the American government. So it will secure you for the next O-1 as well because everything has to be legal. However, not every artist have this opportunity to hired in a, let's say, opera house for full time or a photo stock company for a photographer for full time. This situation is rare. Most of us are freelancer, so we will use the second employment situation, which is the agent-based representation. We have reached the last step, employment. After preparing all the necessary evidence to prove your extraordinary ability, you still have to secure your employment. And this is often the most challenging part for students because even if you have a very impressive achievements or a very strong materials, but you still have to guarantee that you will be hired by a company full time in the next 3 years. So within this O-1 framework, actually, there are two types of employment. So the first one is what we see here, which is called sponsorship, that you need to have a guaranteed 3 years contract hired from a company full time. However, there are another arrangement called agent representation. So our artists probably will more suitable for the second one, but I will love to explain the sponsorship first because since some of you probably will be hired by a actual company and do a full-time job. So the sponsorship means a company legally binding you 3-year employment contract, and you have to actually enroll into this company, do this job position, and get the pay stubs every month and file the tax as well. All these things will be documented and record in the American government. So it will secure you for the next O-1 as well, because everything has to be legal. However, not every artist have this opportunity to hired in a, let's say, opera house for full time, or a photo stock company for a photographer for full time. This situation is rare. Most of us are freelancer, so we will use the second employment situation, which is the agent-based representation. And for this agent-based employment, is more flexible and is more common for our artists, because we're not normally hired by a company and working for full time, right? We always have different projects and hustling everywhere. So this agent employment method is easier for our artists. And additionally, this agent is not a artist agent or entertainment or talent agent. No, it just has to be a U.S. citizen or the permanent resident to collect all your agreement, which covers 3 years, and petition those agreements for you to the immigration officer. And the good news is that this agreements or deal memo is not legal binding. So if you get your O-1 for the next 3 years, you just have to do the same job as the agreement that you submit, but you don't have to necessarily fulfill those agreements given by these companies. However, although these agreements and deal memo are very flexible, but you have to get those agreements from a registered company who file the tax every year, other than an individual. So let's say if my friends who is also a filmmaker and want to hire me for the next 2 months, can she or he give me the agreements? No. Congratulations. Now we have completed the PEACE framework, which now we have a thorough understanding of O-1 visa application process and also the materials required. So let's move on to the timeline. What will happen after we submit our petition? This section will help you to backtrack from the submission date, and so you can better align your preparation process effectively. As you see, there are 2 different service centers, and you can actually look up the processing time on USCIS website. However, you cannot assign your case to either of them. USCIS will notify you which center you have been sent. So suppose that your case has been sent to California Service Center. Right now, the processing time is 7 months. So you have to wait for 7 months to get your O-1 reviewing result. And the good news is that if you submit under OPT, you can legally remain in the United States even after your OPT expires, but you cannot work until you get your O-1 approved. However, if you want to seamlessly transition to O-1 without waiting, you can apply for a premium services, which you pay $2,805 to USCIS, and they will guarantee you to have the result after 15 days. So let's say if you want to use your OPT until the last month to gathering the enough materials, you can send your O-1 petition in the last month and then get the 15 days expedited services. And then if you got approved, you can transition to O-1 status directly after your OPT ends. And Of course, if you got denied, you have to leave the United States immediately if you don't have another legal status to stay here. And the other situation is that if you got RFE, which is the request for evidence, then you will have 90 days to make up the evidence the immigration officer required. So within this 90 days, you are legally stay here in the United States as well. Yeah, and then submit your evidence and wait for the result for another 15 days as well. So now you have the full understanding about the preparation time you might need and also the budget you might have to plan.
Okay, next one. Okay, now we go to the last part. We can see some case study. So wonderful. So the first one is actually director. So she is filmmaking. She is Savannah, I guess. Yes, yeah, just Savannah. And she is in her OPT third month. And right now, she said, oh, Yanzi, I have 6 film festival selection, and I only have 1 film, right? So I'm in my third month. How do I plan the rest of my life? Okay, so can you? Yeah, so for her O-1 preparations, yeah, it's very general. So our lawyer and I help her to write down the list. This is just the title of the list, but this is a lot of details behind. So the leading role that you're trying to, she's not an actor, she's a director and writer, but she still can try to prove the leading role in a big production because she said she is trying to apply for a bigger festivals. If she got nominated or selected, she could try to prove leading role. And the second one is the significant recognition that is like, she just spent some money to do some media coverage. So this is very easy, but she needs to have something like the artwork, right? She needs to get some recognition from somewhere. So the journalist can really write something good about her. So the third one is the recognized by the big ones. Yeah, I'm too straightforward, but means like she has to get some recommendation letters, and also she actually don't have a lot of people to recommend her. So we are trying to find someone from China and also someone in America, a very accomplished one, like actors or filmmakers or like some big ones for her as well. And the fourth one is consolation letter, and the last one is the employment. So she said, now there is, I'm working in Los Angeles, a production. I just part-time, and they cannot give me the like full-time position for a contract to sponsor, right? So she can only get a part-time. So the company says, fine, that's fine, because it's not legal, right? It's legal, but it's not a legal binding. You don't have to really work on that. They don't have to hire you. And so we connect her with different production as well. So there are some like film people that I know, they are willing to hire her as one of like assistant director or something in like some of their production because they have a company. So because this is not legal binding, so we talk to them and get some employment agreement for her. Okay, so the next one, thank you. So perfect, there is something like a graphic designer. So this student is illustrator, and she is also master degree as well. And she is in her second year of OPT. I don't know, she got the 3 years OPT. She's STEM. STEM means like, it's like, STEM is like a science, science, technology, engineer, and math. And I don't know, like, what is, like, her program is, like, I don't know, it's like MA, so she said she got 3 years OPT. So she's in a good position because she has 2 exhibitions for competition nomination, and one of them are really big. And she has she designed animator for a very big job website, very big job that all you know, but she do only the animation part. And she also designed a furniture for a company. So the furniture like sell a lot of things. There are her design on that. It's just like I don't know. It's like a graphic on the table or the sofa or something. Okay, can you? Yes. So she is already qualified critical role commercial success because the furniture sell a lot. So she has this one. It's impressive. So we have to work on her significant achievement, recognitions, which is recommendation letters, and also employment. employment that she got the three book writers hire her to do the illustrator. And We Design is our company. Our company has a design department and music department. So for this agreement, we have the resources to help her. So that's why she can get O-1 visa very smoothly. Okay, so the next one. So the last one is actually a musician. She is an opera singer. And she is in a very good position. I would say if I were him, I can just get like a $6,000 lawyer because she is already there. You see, like she has a 3 international award, and it's a big award. It's not like you're getting just like honorable mention or something. And she has 6 leading roles in very big productions in China and also in Europe. Like she's singing the leading role in the opera. And commercial success, yeah, of course, anything that she performed. You can say, oh, the ticket and the media and how much seats, how much they sold. Okay, so can you press? So we don't need to necessarily prepare for him. So he already have this 5 criteria, so he is ready to send. The only thing he need here is the employment and the consolation letters as well. So she only need these 2. But we are working on his case. We don't have to find the employment for him because he is working on that and he has many connections. So he's really in a good position right now. Okay, so the next one. Okay, so I would say this is like the end of our O-1 presentation. However, a lot of people will say, what's next? Because we have this part is because if you know you get O-1, yay, if you get it, yeah, wonderful, congratulations. But you know that you can only work in your criteria. Means like, if you are a filmmaker, of course, you can work as a DP, an editor, anything in film criteria, but you cannot work as a like Uber driver or project manager. Yeah, but some people, they will just work in the restaurant or nanny to get the like a cash job that's possible. But O-1 is that is the rule is that you can only work what you petition. That's so if you were suppose if you go to drive Uber, you will have to file the tax, and the USCIS will find out, oh, you're doing something not your petition title, then your next O-1 will be in trouble. So that's why we will have this part that what is the next. So the first case is Casey. She is a German. She's a German dancer. And when I met her, she said, Yanzi, I have already got 5 O-1. I was like, wow, so you're working in United States for like 15 years or something. And she said, yes, I'm working in United States for like over 10 years. And I said, give me your resume. Let me see if you can go to green card. And when I see her resume, of course, she is like 40 something. She has a very, very long list. And I say, has anybody told you that you can go for NIW, which is a national interest waiver, this kind of green card? And she said, I don't know, nobody told me. I said, you're a lawyer, didn't tell you? She said, no, nobody told me. So I helped her to petition for national interest waiver, but in a specific way, because maybe next time we have chance, we can talk about what is national interest waiver. Because do you remember that my introduction that I didn't get O-1? I didn't apply O-1, sorry. I didn't apply O-1 because I consult many, many lawyers, and I know there's something called national interest waiver. So I prepared this kind of green card from day 1, from my OPT start. So there is like specific method that you can prove how you as an artist can benefit United States nationally. There's a way, a specific way. So what's next means like you don't want to get O-1 for your whole life. It's troublesome, and you have to worry about your job and your next O-1, next O-1. But you have to think about green card next step. So yeah, so my case, maybe we will leave for next time because NIW is a very, very big topic. But the like brief introduction for NIW is that NIW belongs to EB2. If you know, like people know EB1A, right? EB1A is the first criteria for the extraordinary talent to apply. And that is like a super top high. It's like the ceiling level. You have to be teacher's teacher that level, or you get like a really super big award. So if you are too young, if your material is not enough, it's hard to get EB1A. But NIW is below to EB2. It's so much easier. It's so much easier. Yeah, you can Google NIW today when you go home and try to have some thoughts, and you can ask me if you have any questions. Okay, next one. Okay, I just special thing to my company. It's like my company sponsor the 奶茶 milk tea and vegan. Definitely don't know what is vegan 奶茶. Yeah, so they sponsor for this event, and we charge. But since you guys are very devoted, so after this lecture, you can contact me or talk to me. I will give you like one-on-one free consultation. I will really like break down your resume and talk to you and give you like a personal conversation, like on Zoom or in person as well, because our company is in Midtown Manhattan. It's very near K-Town. So we'll have this chance after that. Okay, so the next one.
All right, thank you. Okay, so this is the next event. I'll be hosting WOWO Studio. We have one person from Epic Games, one person from Take-Two Interactive talk about how to get into the game industry in a non-traditional path. If anyone want to grab a spot, you can like check out the QR code, or we have it on social media as well. So next slide. And then this is our, oh I didn't do this, but this is our Instagram, that's our Twitter, and then this is the Discord chat. We'll be sending out all this recorded information and the PowerPoint on Discord after this, as well as like ways to contact Yanzi and how to schedule her like free consultation. So definitely like check out our Discord, and then I'll send all the info up there. I'll give everyone a couple.
The next slide is
Are we good? Okay.
Oh, there's your. Okay.
Yeah, and this is Yanzi's information. And then if you want to talk to me more about like our events, that's the information from WOWO Studio.
Yeah, if you have WeChat or WhatsApp, you can scan. Or if you want to get my email, you can talk to me. I can give you, because email is easier to schedule the one-on-one. Yeah.
I'll send out all the information after this event. It'll probably be an email. And then next slide, please. All right, we also have some cookies, and then we have some special guests from the Red Circle, our founder. They have some really great O-1 resources they would like to share. So welcome Daniel and Madhu.
Wow, thanks for this amazing crowd. Yeah, thanks for stopping by Homebrew and having an event in, Thanks for stopping by Homebrew. It's really good to have everybody here, and hopefully you'll come to more events in this space in the future. Just wanted to share something that I thought was going to be really nice and helpful for participants of this workshop. Mano and I run this nonprofit where essentially we pair up mentors and mentees to work on high impact projects. And this nonprofit actually started because one of my friends wanted to start an O-1 project, both to publish a research paper, but also to engage in judging, and also like paper review of other academic works. So we've been running it for over a year now. You can find us at lorencircle.org if you're interested in getting mentored or funded for any of your projects. That's all.
Here's the QR code if anyone want to scan it. Thank you. All right. Thanks everyone for coming. There'll be cookies on the other table. Feel free to grab one. And then, yeah.
Yeah, so if you have questions, you can ask me.
In international students, there's like, it's illegal to work while studying, but sometimes we're preparing materials for like, you have to work in some like big projects. It somehow relates to that you can get paid from it, and either you're in America or not. So that's, but at the same time, it's illegal. I wonder if there's like a conflict or a way that you don't have to make it illegal.
You're in your OPT, right?
And I'm currently studying.
Oh, yeah, then
in
you
school.
cannot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you're in F1, you can work in school or something. Yeah. Unless you're a CPT. Yeah, if you are still in school, you probably cannot get paid from other productions.
So what is the experience that I already have that relates to, some like big projects that I used to work back in China? Does that also count as kind of?
Oh, if the pay is come from China, it's totally fine. Yeah, it's totally fine. Yeah, even you're in your OPT or in your O1. A lot of my students, they teach Zoom class. They have they teach singing or teach English in China, and just Zoom and take a lot of money from. It's just outside United States is fine.
I have a couple questions. So for example, you were talking about we have to get recommendations to get our O1. Does it matter? Like, does it have to come from somebody that is super famous, or is it fine if it's my like company's colleague or whatever? Does that count?
It doesn't have to be famous, but you have to prove she or he has some position relate to you. and she or he cannot lower than you. So you can ask a colleague, like I'm an actor, I can ask another actor to write for me. But she or he better have something to say. Like I win some award, or I work in Miss Saigon or something like that. But I was a professor, and someone famous will be at least 1 or 2. Yeah, and the rest of 3 you can get like the collaborators or the producer that you work with.
Thank you. And my second question is that can you establish your own firm and work for yourself if you get your O-1?
That is a very good question. A lot of people want to start their own company. And so I asked myself, no, you can't, sorry. Because the O1, the spirit of O1 is that you have to prove that you are extraordinary, exceptional. So you have a market, somebody hire you. But there's a way, If you have a partner, let's say, oh, I want to, like we have a jewelry designer. She wants to establish her own studio. But she cannot hire herself, but she wants to start her own company. So she paired with an American. So there are partnerships. So, but the company is under the other one's name. So this girl hired her. So I was hired by this studio. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. So you can say your how to say 股权股票就是你的股份 your equity have to be under 5%, or it's just you have to prove that you are being hired. You have no control. That's fine. Yeah.
A follow-up question on that. Do you need to get payroll also in that scenario?
Yes, if this company sponsor you, this is sponsorship. They have to pay you. They have to see the payroll every month.
My third question was, since you worked with so many cases, and I'm just wondering if the approval rate is going to be lower under Trump's presidency.
Yeah, I answered these questions like almost this month, and yesterday it's like, yeah, crazy. This is all, everybody has this concern. So most of my clients are petitioned for NIW or EB1A green card. Yeah, part of them not O1, but they are concerned about this because Trump is not nice to immigrants, right? But if you see, he is not happy about illegal immigrants because those illegal immigrants, they are trying to come here and take the jobs and use the resources, and we pay the tax for them. So that's why Trump's trying to protect American citizens, let's say. But we are talent. We are, let's say, someone who is competitive to come here. So if you apply for O1, EB1A, and NIW, you can look back the history. So the EB1A actually started from, I think it's 1976, and NIW it started from 1983. Yeah, I have like a general impression. So from like 40, 50 years ago, there are so many different parties and so many different presidents, right? Everybody wants the best people in their country. China, Taiwan, every country. It's not gonna be changed. Yeah, you want the best people, but I don't want illegal immigrants. Yeah, so that's why. So we look back to the history. We will say, yeah, probably the policy, the provision of the rules to petition O1, EB1, NIW probably will update here and there, and sometimes the rate will become lower because too many people apply. That's possible, but we don't really see the presidents can really change the situation for, we say, talent. Yeah. So work on yourself is fine. Yeah.
In general, what is, you say, like the approval, like how many of O1s get approved? Like is it a lot or is it like
I'm not really sure, but I would say I have like a vague impression, like 60 to 70%. It depends on the year as well. But O1 is very tricky compared to EB1A and NIW because those three things, three different visa or green card, they have specific rules, right? If you meet those criteria, you can we can say you have a high rate to pass that. However, O1 is very tricky because it's very objective. The immigration officer may not really know your materials because O1 is that you don't have to be exceptional as EB1A. You are something in between. So there are a lot of different judgments. So we will hear, maybe you will heard your seniors will say, oh, she didn't get a lot of credits, but she got approved right away. And he is very, very good, but he got denied. That happens all the time. So our strategy is that we will try to get as many as criteria as possible, not just approve 3. We have to prove 4 or 5. So you got 2 denied, you still have 3. So that's why we said if you have more budget, get more resources. Yeah.
Yeah. How many? Because I saw you said there was someone who was on their O1 5 times. When you renew it, do you have to do the same process over again? And can you use old materials, or do you have to start from the beginning?
You can use the old materials, but you also have to prove the past 3 years as well. Because do you remember you apply with a lot of agreements, deal memo, right? So they will see if you are really use this O1 doing your things in America, then you're fine. You can say, oh, I don't get a lot of production or a lot of award. I use the past one, it's fine. But you have to prove your work.
Oh, is everything like digital, or do you need to have proof, like physical proof, like you have to print out?
Everything is copied. They're still doing the paperwork, only paper. Yeah, they can print out everything. Yeah.
So your art has to, if your art is like a movie or a film, how would you show it? Does it just have to be like a picture of it?
That is evidence. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That like you get in the film festival, any kind of documents, like the email invitation or like the badge that you attend, anything at the website, IMDb, everything. Yeah. Try to, and also every artist will get media coverage. This is very super important for artists because they think if we are extraordinary, there must be somebody trying to, shout out. So media report is really important.
On that note, how would you recommend people seek out media coverage? Like, do you have tips on how to do that? Do you just go to like online article sites and pay them to cover your work? Or is there a way you do it?
Yeah. If you have a connection to get paid to write it, this is the quickest way. Like our company just told you like, oh, Chinese paper media, how much? And there's like different kind of media like the 日报, something like that, or like some critical journal, 什么美术家什么什么南方艺术, and also there are lists for America digital media, how much it says in Taiwan. We also have that. But if you don't want to spend any money, you can just I would say you have to have something happen, like you have a show or a screening or an exhibition. You need a reporter, journalist to come to write for you. That is a possible way. I did that myself before as well. I emailed just a Chinese newspaper here, like 侨报, 星岛日报, 世界日报, and 大纪元后来他们没有让我做，就是我律师说这个怕会有政治上的问题，所以那个我没有。But when I emailed those Chinese newspaper, only one 星岛日报，他们记者有来，他们我没有花钱，但他们就来看表演，然后就写，对 ，it's possible, yeah, it's possible. And for the media coverage, the media has to be international or national. It cannot be local. Local means like, 就是如果它是指发行 if that is just a local area or like school newspaper or like company newspaper or somebody's blog, that is not useful.
The somebody's blog, what if it's the company's official blog and then they post something about the artist? Does it count?
It depends because the lawyer will really research about that platform because let's say I think I forget what is the website, but we have a fashion designer and her work was being featured by a very famous fashion designer's website. And she is a very big one. But she is not a media company. She still have her blog and everything, everybody's there. So we prove the circulation and streaming and the reviews. There is somewhere that the lawyer can get how many views. That counts as well. Yeah, so it depends.
I also heard that for the media coverage, you need to have an editor name under the media, and that will be count. But if you don't have an editor name, then the media coverage doesn't count.
Yeah, for O-1 it's kind of in a gray area, but in E1 and NIW, it's true, because if you don't have the author, writer, or editor, that means it's from PR company. Yeah. But for O1, fine. Yeah. Just don't have every media look like that. It's fine. But a lot of artists, you probably get your media coverage just like, oh, you have a show, or just have an exhibition, or have a activity. You will ask that, oh, only my photo or only my name, right? Does that count? That counts as well. That counts as well. You cannot only have just a one. You need to have your personal interview or like a bigger paragraph or something. You need to have at least one. But other materials can be just okay. Like I have a musical performer. He's Taiwanese. He didn't like spend any money for the media coverage because he already have a lot of shows going on. He's very talented. So he gave me the Broadway World. I don't know if you know this platform. Broadway World is like in New York, any Broadway, off-Broadway, off-Broadway, any information reviews, any news will in that website. It's not even a media website, it's just an information website. But it's super big, it's just a like a giant website in America. So what he gave me is like Albert, Albert do this, Albert. It's only his name and only his photo. And he always act as a like supporting role or ensemble. He's not a big one, but it counts. He has like 20 something, and he got his O1 approved. Yeah.
I have a question. So if say like a company sponsored me and I got my O1, am I like allowed to work another job or like switch companies after that?
You mean like you use the sponsorship, right? They give you the contract, right?
Yes.
So you can change the company after you get O1. So when we apply O1, we will fill out the form called I-129. So you have to give the company's information. But after that, you change the company, you change the sponsorship. You still get your O1, but you
I mean,
have
like
to.
say I work another job aside from my main job, like two jobs. Is that possible?
It's possible if that is the same criteria.
Okay.
Yeah, that's possible. You already have your sponsor, but you can freelance with others.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say like school uses like your work and to promote school like on the website. Can you use that for evidence or?
The rule is that O1 visa is called extraordinary talent. So anything has to be professional. Yeah, even though you're not like a big role, but if that is from school, it not count. But you don't have if you can hide the school information. If that is not the website or the exhibitions or activities or event not come, how to say, there's no information come from school. Like it's a student film. Why not? Yeah, you still get a lot of recognitions. Yeah. I will say, yeah, you just don't tell them, oh, it's my graduation final concert. No, you just don't say that. You just sell ticket and say, I have a media, I have sell the ticket, and I have someone to have the review, the critics, and audience, how many viewer has. That's the trick. Yeah.
So if let's say the film you got awards for was your student film, it's best to not mention that it was student production.
You don't have to. You just say, yeah, because no matter you're a student or not, you compete with professional, right? Yeah.
What if like the award was like under the
Student criteria.
category?
Yeah. In O1 it's okay. In green card it's not. Yeah. O1 is it's still an award. Yeah.
In terms of commercial success, how much money are we talking about that would count as commercial?
It will have to compare the same artist salary. Let's say for example, if you are a painter and the lawyer will research how much a painter in New York City made in 1 year, and if you're making, let's say if your work sell like 200,000, totally 200,000, that is already over the average, right? The painters, they full-time, there is like the status there on the website, so there is the number that you can compare. So it's different. It depends.
But what if it's just like one specific cell, like if you host a cell event and you sell tickets, how much money would be like commercially success?
Still, you mean like you're in the show, right?
Like in a performance or show, yeah.
That is that is also, I think if in that case, the production is not like very small, I think that's fine. Suppose that I don't have like specific number, but our lawyer will say, oh my god, this is 500 seats theater. Of course, if it's sold out, it's a big money. So it doesn't have to compare your salary. It's just a commercial success is like a overall for the whole team. Like because if you have this commercial success value, yeah. But you have a really good question because it's proved in a different way. One way is that high salary, the other way is that you prove your value and your contribution. Yeah.
For the high salary part, if I'm, for example, a media artist and then I teach to get money, does it count as commercial success?
So high salary, so this question is a good example. High salary is high salary. Commercial success is a little bit like broad. The idea is broad that you can prove as like ratings or the views, like streaming views, how many streaming views, and also how many reviews. Like you get like 1,000 of 5 stars. That count as commercial success, not necessarily judged by money. So sorry, what is the question? I think
I was asking for the salary part. Does it have to count directly from the work I sell, or it can also be I'm making money as a teacher?
Also for the high salary?
Yes.
As a teacher, I would say no. Yeah, I would say no. If you are petition for, like if you are a dancer and you petition for dancer/teaching artist, you can. Yeah, but if you have this teaching artist title, it's hard. Yeah.